Hey everyone, Aimer here again with another Mission Impossible episode review. This time I'm reviewing Season 2, Episode 17, which is called A Game of Chess. So this time Jim gets his instructions from a payphone. The mission is to retrieve gold bullion intended for a friendly underground movement, which is also being targeted by chess master Nicholas Grote for his own purposes. We get the usual team for this one, and we learn that the gold Grote is targeting is headed for a hotel vault, where a chess tournament is to be held. And the team has some chemical prepared which will simulate the symptoms of typhoid. Off we head to the hotel where the chess tournament starts, and Rollin is one of the participants, wearing a hearing aid as a receiver, while Cinnamon's brooch acts as a camera, relaying the footage to Barney and Jim, who are using a computer to plan their chess moves. Grote goes to the hotel safe to get his special chess set, while his man Mueller uses a hidden camera to get the combination to the vault safe. Rollin is able to defeat Grote in 9 moves, angering the embarrassed master. Rollin puts his hearing aid away, but as he walks away, he hears Cinnamon ask for an autograph, and hears it, signaling to Grote that something is amiss. Grote finds Rollin's room, sees the computer. Rollin performs a demonstration for Grote's benefit and mentions that the computer messes with watches. Grote is impressed, but rejects Rollin's offer to win the prize money from every tournament he wishes with their assistance. Meanwhile, Jim calls Grote's room, posing as a hotel manager, telling Mueller that a time lock is being put on the vault safe. When Grote returns to his room, he gets the bad news and realizes that his pocket watch is 6 hours ahead. He and Mueller return to the room where Jim has joined Barney and Rollin and confirms the computer's effect on timepieces. Grote tells him to forget about the tournament. He has a combination to the safe and needs their help to defeat the time lock to share in the gold theft. Jim declines, but Mueller is prepared to kill them for the use of the computer. Rollin counters that Grote doesn't really have a plan for getting away with the gold cleanly, and so after confirming that the time lock mechanism will actually be affected, the group mulls it over. Rollin tells Grote that they have a plan. They'll simulate a typhoid outbreak in order to cover their tracks, and he sends the IMF members to prepare for it, while he and Grote play their next match to avoid rousing suspicion. Barney taps into the water supply as a gold shipment is brought into the vault, with a guard posted and the time lock set. The captain comes down to the basement where Barney is working, but fortunately he manages to evade being seen and is able to put the compound through the plumbing. Grote wins the tournament and is congratulated in the lobby by Barney, who collapses suddenly. Dr. Jim moves in and tells everyone that it looks like typhoid fever, and everyone needs to be inoculated. City health official Rollin arrives, giving everyone the needed shots with Jim and Cinnamon's help. Willie arrives shortly after with some food for everyone. The shots, of course, knock everyone out after a while, so the IMF move in towards the safe with Mueller and Grote, and Barney starts accelerating the time lock. Once the safe is open, Grote and Mueller jump in quickly and start pushing the dolly full of gold bullion out. Once it's out, Rollin pulls out a gun and the IMF close the safe on the duped pair. Mission accomplished. Okay, I have to give this episode a grade of F. There is nothing at all I find redeeming or good to say about this episode. Where to begin? Don Franks, who plays Grote in this episode, is a fellow Canadian. I'm sure he was a wonderful guy. But his acting is just so wooden and lackluster. It just absolutely kills it for me. Despite the fact that he seems to have a somewhat competent sidekick in Mueller, he just buys into the whole IMF plot so easily and is just completely a lame schmuck the whole way. One thing I noticed is that it's his character, as he's walking around most of the time, he has his hands behind his back, kind of like this, clasped behind his back, and he's walking around with his hands behind his back. And I just found that to be almost like a microcosm of the whole episode. It's a subtle thing, but it just shows how he's so passive. He's a step behind the IMF the entire way. and that mannerism just really sells it for me. That like, holy crap, this guy's really behind the ball. I don't know whether that's just the way that Don Franks acts. Maybe that's just a mannerism of his own, or maybe it was just deliberate direction that, hey, do this. Maybe that's what the directors told him. Either way, that is just absolutely a killer for me. I think I might have mentioned already, just the way that Grote buys into the whole IMF plan. The IMF is just able to do it like clockwork. Not just even the literal clockwork that they mess with towards the end of the episode. It's just so easy for them because he's just hooked, like hook, line, and sinker. Also, what's bad is, again, it really bugs me when there's scientific inaccuracy or realistic, just bogosity, inaccuracies in an episode. I'm not a very good chess player, but I am a bit of an amateur. I don't play as much anymore as I did when I was younger, but I do know enough about it that first of all, when Rollin defeats Grote in the beginning in 9 moves, it's just so pathetic. You don't need a computer in order to do that, first of all. But it's just, you can't beat grandmasters that way. No grandmaster is going to blunder so horribly as to not see an impending mate in 2 moves. I mean, it could happen occasionally. We're all human, but to the extent that it's portrayed here, chess simply does not work that way. Yes, computers nowadays certainly, and maybe even back then, computers can beat human players, even grandmasters. There's no doubt about that. But in 9 moves in such a simple way, the way that was, not even an amateur would fall for that, frankly. I also happen to note, and this is just a side thing, this is just me, some of the moves are just not annotated correctly. Some of them are not described by Rollin correctly either, like from the moves that you see on the move sheet. But that's a side point. Just the whole premise there just absolutely killed it for me. And I really looked. I looked hard to find something good to say about this episode, and honestly, I just couldn't find it. And that's why I'm sticking with a grade of F. Thank you for listening and watching. I appreciate it. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and please leave your comments. If you disagree with me and you thought that there was something redeeming in this episode, I would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.